Yep, and one guy who knows something about that is our next guest. We're spending the next half hour in the NPSL with the NPSL playoffs. We're going to start things off with our trip to App, and the man in charge on the touchline for Appalachian FC is Dale Parker. Coach, good morning. Thanks for dropping by as you're getting ready for another playoff run.
Yeah, good morning, guys. Appreciate you having us on. Should be a fun week in the Southeast Conference, that's for sure.
When you look back at, I know that expectations are always there for you, and you finished up the regular season with a matchup against Charlottetown Hops, and this, we always talk about rivalries and things being in play. And guess what? Because of how things were drawn up, you get them back to back. I mean, for those that don't know about this rivalry with Hops, how do you break this down?
Yeah, you got to think back when we started in the league in 2021. There were no teams local to us at all. You know, most of our away trips were down your way in Atlanta and North Alabama and places like that. So since then, we've added more teams, and Charlottetown were one of them that were added last year. And we started with a home game up here in Boone that we felt we let slip away, and they end up winning that one late in the game, and then we go down to Charlotte for the return fixture. We're down 3-0. We come back to 3-3, and then we lose it in the last minute. And there was some stuff going on off the field in the crowd, which made it too exciting for some people. So there's kind of an organic rivalry there that stemmed obviously from the locality of the fixture, but more so because of the tension on the field as well. It was a really good battle, or two really good battles that we had with them last year, and then obviously this year we only get to play them once in the league, and finally we're able to get one over on them. It was the first time that we'd been able to beat them, which is a nice thing to get over the line, especially now that we're heading to playoffs and we've got them again here in Boone. So it's a good rivalry. I think it's forged on the pitch more than off the pitch, which I think is great. The coaches enjoy it, the players certainly enjoy it, and obviously now the fans are really getting into it. So it's good fun.
Coach, is there anything that's like, because we were looking at this in the last week, watching everything play out, and I told John and everybody, I was like, hey, they might have to play back-to-back in 4 days' time, and I don't know how that's going to go. Is it tricky for you as a coach, knowing you're going to see the same team in 4 days, kind of coming up with being able to deploy any wrinkles, or is it just a matter of we just have to execute our game plan for 180 minutes in a row instead of 90?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think it's tricky if you win the first one, because you're not really looking, especially if you win it in the way that we did, because you're not looking at problems to solve, so to speak. You're looking at maintaining the level that you're able to put out there. But I've had to put myself in the opposition shoes. What would I do on the back of a heavy defeat away from home, knowing that we're playing that team again on Wednesday? So we've got to be prepared for some changes. We've got to be prepared for a reaction. I don't think it'd be prudent to just show up and play exactly the same way, exactly the same team, and just maintain it. I don't think that will get the job done. I expect there to be some changes from them, and that poses some challenges for us. So we're treating it as a completely different fixture. We're training as if it's a new team, a different game, a new season now, because knockout football, it feels a lot different. If you score a goal or if you concede a goal, it hits you a lot different as a player than what it would in a league game. Because, in a league game, you've always got another one. There's always Saturday, there's always next Saturday. The truth is, today could be our last training session and tomorrow could be our last game. So all the feelings are going to be different, and we're going to prepare for that accordingly.
How do you keep it from being too much on an assistant coach's shoulders, a player's shoulders, and having them try to just focus on the task at hand without it being too much that may bog you down in a one and done situation?
I think focus on what we've tried to do is focus on the enjoyment of the time that we might or might not have left, rather than heaping pressure on the players and the staff. Just remind them that every minute that we have now is bonus time. We've qualified for the playoffs, and we're sitting nice and tidy in the national rankings. So if we get the job done on the pitch, we get to keep this thing going. But don't forget, this could be our last one. This could be our last session. This could be our last game. So enjoy it as much as possible. Let us take on the pressure of setting the team up and getting the analysis right. You guys just enjoy it for as long as you can. And that's sort of been the message now, not even just for the playoffs, but for the last couple of weeks as we've entered these high pressure games, down at Port City, away at Hickory the week before, away at Apotheos. We've had basically knockout football now for the last 4 games that we've played. So it's nothing new to us. But yeah, the big focus for our guys has been on the enjoyment side. Some of these players are never going to see each other again. Some of them hopefully will return next year and jump on this train again. But there are going to be a few guys that we might not ever see again. So just enjoy that time you've got left with each other.
You started talking about that in the last question, and I wanted to actually ask you about that. For you, over the years you've been doing this, how has it been developing, building that ability to help foster that, I guess, the internal relationships on the team, knowing that, every year it could be some guys will come back, but it could be new guys. But for you and your staff to be able to quickly bring guys together and build that camaraderie that you need to get through a season, and especially through knockout rounds.
I think we've learned so much in the previous 3 years. I think a lot of the stuff we do off the pitch is massively helpful. Our general manager Mike Raymond's done a phenomenal job this year, more than previous years, of having the guys do activities. We've got a lot of team meals that we have throughout the course of the week. A lot of great sponsors in the town of Boone that provide food for the guys. I know we're in the mountains, so there's so many outdoor activities that we can do outside of training, and we did a lot of that in the early stages of the season. The first 2 to 4 weeks, there was always something every day, whether it's zip lining or some sort of hike or tubing. There's been a lot of that going on. So the idea for the coaching staff over the course of the year, we've been recruiting specific types of players that are going to fit the way that we want to play. And then in the first 2 to 4 weeks, Mike took upon himself to make sure we got a lot of stuff off the pitch to get these guys together from a social aspect. So it was a perfect recipe for us, and thankfully we got off to a good start anyway. But it got even better, once the first 4 weeks had gone by. So a lot of that was done early in the season. I think now you can see the guys, they get along with each other. Most of them live together, but their shift has now gone to, we don't want this season to end, which is a nice feeling. We've not had to do too much as a coaching staff other than focus on the football, and then manage the disappointment of players that don't play, because we've got so many good players. Some of these guys are not used to not playing, so that's been a challenge for us this year. But yeah, thankfully we've got a team of staff, whether it's coaching staff, general manager, that have really rallied around and made this by far and away our best year in terms of the off the field stuff, for sure.
All right, so then let me ask you this: what has been something that has surprised you about this team? Could be something on the field, off the field, personality, a guy that you brought in that has exceeded expectations. And what do you think, even as you're heading into the first round of the playoffs here in conference, what do you think you still need to work on as a team to get to where you want to go? And that's getting to that national championship game and winning the last game of the year.
I think the resilience of the group was something that I think when you don't really know what's deep inside each player's brain, when you don't know that piece, which we just don't when you're recruiting for a summer league team, you don't know that. So the resilience to dig deep and come back in games where we've let a few goals slip, or we've been on top of a game and conceded against a run of play, and then the game's completely changed. We're now having to come back to try and win the game. We've come back late in games and come from behind several times this year. Every game that we've gone behind, we've come back and found a way to win it or not lose it. We're sitting here unbeaten at the moment, which is something we've never done. We've never finished a regular season unbeaten. So the resilience of the group and the fight and the desire was something that was a pleasant surprise for me. Again, because you can't really figure that out during the recruitment process, and it's difficult to train in such a short space of time. Yeah, and I think more ruthlessness is something that I'd like from the group. I know it sounds crazy given the situation that we're in. We've won the regular season, we're hosting playoffs, and we've got a good national ranking right now. But I feel like if we take more of the chances that we get, we're not going to give opponents an opportunity to come back in games. I think from the chances we've created, we should have scored a lot more goals than we have. And I think if we're going to, like you said, go on a deep run and finish in that final game, you might only get one or two chances in those types of games, and you got to take them. So that's one thing that I'd love to see from this group. It started to click here in the last couple of weeks. I think we've had less and less chances in games, but we've still managed to win them. So hopefully that will continue going into the playoffs.
Yeah, and I think last time we talked, you talked about wanting to kind of diversify this team and how they play and diversify how y'all operated. How has that been this season, and kind of adding just more abilities to what this team is known for, and how they're able to build the attack and how they're able to hurt, how you're able to hurt other teams?
Yeah, I think everyone knows when we started this, it was very, very front foot, attack, waves of attacks, waves of counter pressing, knowing that we were going to leave ourselves a little bit open. And history tells you we have conceded a lot of goals. We've scored a terrific amount of goals over the past 3 seasons, but our defensive record has just been average at best. I think this year, if you look at our defensive records, we've conceded, I think, 7 goals so far this season. And that's probably the standout statistic for us is our ability now to keep clean sheets, and kept 5 clean sheets this year. Something we've never done in the past. I think we've kept 4 over the past 3 seasons combined, and we've kept 5 in one season this year. So that's another massive area that we've drastically improved. And again, if you want to get into deeper rounds of the playoffs, your defensive record is probably more important than the goals that you score. If you can keep a clean sheet, you can win the game on penalties. So to speak. That's not what we want to do. We still want to play attacking football, which we're still able to do. But I think we've found a much better balance in terms of how we play now. We can have stages of the game where we might have to suffer, but we know now we've got that confidence that we can see it through. There's been games where we're 1-0 up, 2-0 up, where in the past I would have been a bit nervous about how we're going to get through the latter stages of that game. This year I've not really felt that. I feel like the group's individually a lot better defensively, but collectively there's a much better balance to the group, and we know that if we're 2-0 up, it's very unlikely we're going to lose that match now. Which is a nice place to be in, because I've been developing some grey hairs over the last 3 years when we've been holding on to a lead. We're having to come back late in the game, but this year's has not been as stressful, I can give you that.
Dale, my friend, it's always great to catch up with you, especially as we're getting ready for season number 3 with the postseason happening here in the NPSL Southeast. Good luck on the midweek. We'll catch up with you on the flip side, and looking forward to another deep run with App FC here. Thanks for dropping by the morning show.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you all, and we'll hopefully speak to you soon.
You got it. All right. That's Dale Parker, head coach at App FC. And Jarrett, as the play-by-play voice for Apotheos, John Mercado is set to join us coming up just around the corner. What's it been like for you, for someone who hasn't seen the NPSL and the NPSL Southeast? How would you break down what folks haven't been seeing about the rivalries and just how heated it can get in the NPSL Southeast, and what folks are going to be diving into here with the playoffs?
Animosity. There's it gets chippy on the field between these teams. Look, the NPSL is not created equally everywhere.
No.
Different conferences have different qualities of teams top to bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And the South's no different. The Southeast, is no different. You had some teams like Bay City, who played this weekend, who it didn't work for them this year. I mean, they weren't able to put together the team to challenge up top in the standings, and they took their lumps. But you still had 5 teams, if you count 865, who were there alive until the last day, although alive only in a very cartoonish sense.
Yeah.
You had 5
with
teams
you and your
who
math.
were competing. competing for 4 spots, and
Yep.
it was 4 of those teams really beating up on each other. So you had a very fun horse race for those 4 spots that went through, the Apotheos app game in Silverbacks Park was just an absolute rock fight. So I mean, the conference itself I think the conference itself is more balanced than some of the other ones you would find. Like, I think it's the Vegas team. Like I said, the Vegas team had like a plus 40 goal differential halfway through the year. Like, I mean, they were just running executions week after week, like putting up like 10 goals a week on people. It was cartoonish, man.
Yeah, and we're catching up now with the guy that you've got to see a lot of this season, Jonathan Mercado, the head coach of Apotheos FC, as they get ready for a road trip to Lenore, Ryan, and Hickory. Coach, as always, great to catch up with you here on the morning show. What's going on?
What's going on, guys? Good morning. Hope all is well. Just out here getting the day going, man. I'm excited. It's been an amazing season, and looking forward to chatting up more with you guys.
Jarrett, bat leadoff with the guy that you've been watching all season.
Coach, I know we talked a little bit after the game about the way guys reacted last time. I wanted to kind of get into that more of, like, you had the disappointment against Appalachian, but then you handed guys opportunities in this last game. I wanted to ask your thoughts on how everyone responded on decision day when challenged.
I love it, man. I love these types of questions. I love these types of situations because it's part of life. It's part of soccer. The hardest part of my job as a head coach is, as the season goes on, players start molding, the chemistry starts getting better. Players start stepping up. Some players, stay stagnant. And I don't say that in a rude or disrespectful way. It's just how it is, in any team. I thought it was appropriate to use this last game, not because, we're playing against this team that's on this side of the table or what. No, I just, it was the last game of the season. We've had guys ride with us since day one. And I just felt it was appropriate, through the training and performances that I've been seeing, to give them a chance. And, no one likes to hear the news of, that, they're not starting and this and that. It's just the baller, you can say, that lives in all of us. We're all competitive. We all want to play. But one of a big message that I sent to the team, and even in practice yesterday, is what's more important? Is this about you, or is the team come first? And I love hearing from everybody say, no, the team. It's always going to be the team. I'm like, okay, then you have to show that through your actions. Especially our leaders on the team, the veterans on our team, that if they got to make way for the young guys to come in and close the game out, then so be it. You know what I mean? So I thought there was a great response. It was a choppy game at one point, going up 3-0 and then giving up 2 goals very quickly. But hey, that's soccer, man. We came out, we responded right after. But I'm very proud of my team just because of the way they responded to the challenge. I know some of them at first may have been bothered, but I think as the game went on, they kind of started seeing the reasoning behind why I made these changes. And at the end of the day, the team got the win. And, all is well now, just preparing for Hickory.
What do you think you need to still work on to be at that vision of Apotheos FC that you had in your mind coming into this season to be successful?
Truly, it's myself, Coach Allen, and Joe. We always preach it, and I think these guys are so tired of hearing it. But I'm a very tiki-taka, keep a hold of the ball as long as we can type of player, type of coach. That's my philosophy. It's not just blindly just keeping the ball until we lose it. It's with purpose, with urgency. A lot of transitions on the field, getting our mids involved, even to drag others, the opponent, out of positions. That's been my main vision of this team, the philosophy. And we finally are starting, as every game we played, I think we started presenting it more and more and more and executing it more. But then there's still times where I think either the nerves or the anxiousness in the game get to us, and then we start falling into this hole of, our old habits, or falling into the, letting the other team kind of dictate our tempo. And one of my messages in the last game was, can we dictate the tempo for 90 minutes? And I tell them all the time, I'm not looking for perfection, guys. I'm not looking for you guys to go and bag hat tricks, and that's not even what I don't look for that. What I'm looking for is, can we be a consistent team that shows our identity from minute 1 to minute 90? And I think this last game, besides those 5 minutes, I think we demonstrated what we are capable of. And going into this game against Hickory, I love this beautiful sport because it gives you chances of redemption. And I know for a fact, we're not the same team we were in the first game, but I know Hickory isn't either. And I know they've been prepping up just as much as we have. Congratulations to them for finishing second. And I know it's going to be an amazing game, but if there's something that we're going to keep harping on for Apotheos FC is, can we keep our identity from minute 1 to minute 90, keeping the ball, valuing the ball, bouncing the ball, a lot of transitions, and, and can the end goal be either, something positive, a shot on goal, a corner kick, free kick, anything that says that, we have tired out the opposition. They're tired of running, they get desperate. And, that's what we've been aiming for all season.
Coach, you talk about that ruthlessness, and it's something that y'all have showed a lot this season. There have been a couple games where you've left it late, but you've found a way to punish teams and put games away. And how hard is that to kind of instill, but also like to see it executed in the sense where you have your players realize this team is on the ropes. We don't need to let them off the ropes.
Oh, brother, I tell these guys all the time, I think I need to write a book about all these like little quotes I'd be telling them. I say, when you got all a team needs is hope. And I think what has put us in certain sticky situations is that we produce a lot. We'll send players, we send numbers up. We try to pin teams in and keep possession of the ball. And I think our style sometimes can be risky. We lose the ball in a bad spot, and then all of a sudden we're getting countered. But, it's one of those things where we have responded well in certain situations. But I think to answer your question, it's kind of tough to even explain it. It's how can I say? Can you repeat the question one more time, Jared?
No, you're good, man. But it's like
I got lost in the sauce.
Basically, just how is it getting it through to guys, and how do they respond to, and are they able to actually convert it of when you've got a team on the ropes, not letting them off the ropes, like just putting the game out of reach.
Yes. So yes, I was telling you. Yes. So one thing I harp on these guys a lot is, man, all the team needs is hope. When we're producing chance after chance after chance after chance after chance after chance, and that ball is just not going in, and then out of nowhere, they get one break to the other side, and then it's a goal. That could be very devastating. And we've encountered that a couple times this season. But like to your point, we do have guys that I think the experience, the veteran that comes out of a lot of our guys on the team is that, we don't let it phase us. Myself, my coaches have to do our best to try to keep these guys, our head up, grab the ball, put it back, and let's get this show going again, because the game is not just 1 minute. It's a 90-minute game. If something happens in 1 minute, it is what it is. We still got time to play. But, there have been times that, like I was telling you, our style can cause us sometimes can be a little risky. We keeping the ball, we have numbers up. But if there's something that I've really tried to harp on these guys is, boys, like, we have to put this game out of reach. You have to, put your foot on their throat and not take it off. It's, I don't want to sound too vague, but it's kind of like that, because all a team needs is hope. And with each miss, with each chance produced, and we're just not finding that end product, man, teams on the other end are like, oh, well, we got this, if it's not going in for them, and it can go in for us. And trust me, even my old man tells me all the time, he's like, if you're not the one scoring, you're the one getting scored on. So, I hope that answers the question. But, tomorrow I told these boys, these type of games are going to come down to moments of truth. They're going to come down to free kicks, set pieces, dumb fouls around the box, corner kicks, dumb foul in the box. We could play beautiful all game long, but one lapse of focus, it could be the end of us. But we are prepping hard mentally, mostly, to stay in this game and to just execute our identity from minute 1 to minute 90.
and we're looking forward to it. As always, Coach, great to catch up with you here on the morning show as you get ready for the first round of the NPSL Southeast playoffs with your trip to Lenore-Ryan and catching up with Hickory. By the way, tomorrow morning, 10:30, we're having Coach Rubio on the show. So if you want to listen to what's going on with Coach Rubio, you can do that tomorrow. But I just want to give you that heads up when you're on the road. Be safe getting up there for the matchup. It's always great to have you here on the show, and we'll catch up soon, my friend.
You guys are the best. Thank you for all the love and support this season. We are going to do our best to represent Atlanta to the core. So thank you.